This is a certified hood classic.
And man, this is sad. This is really sad because it's not just Dragon Ball Z. It's more or less like it's almost feel like childhood, this nostalgia of the passing of someone who brought so much joy and happiness. Like, I remember for years making references about Goku, Vegeta. That was like when Goku fought Cell, and that's like, it was just even one of my favorite games, one of my favorite RPG games is Dragon Quest, which was based off of Dragon Ball, which the characters were drawn by Akira Toriyama. So it's really, one, I want to say rest in peace. Today, man, we're getting ready to watch a powerful tribute to him because this is sad. You know, I did hear what happened. It was I think it was y'all can read about what happened. You know what I'm saying? I might be speaking out of turn here. You know,
we found out last night that Akira Toriyama, the creator of Dragon Ball, has passed away at the age of 68. This
Rest
took
in peace,
everyone,
which is still
the
young.
entire world, completely by surprise, as we lost one of the greatest that inspired not only anime fans, but the entire world. As I'm sure most of you can agree with, Toriyama's inspiration affected our lives since a very early age. I'm 38 years old and was introduced to Dragon Ball around the age of 10. Further, my favorite game growing up was Chrono Trigger,
I didn't even know that he made other games like Chrono Trigger. That's dope.
Was Chrono Trigger, in which the art was done also by Akira Toriyama. In fact, he not only inspired me to become a YouTuber, I would never have made Goku vs. Saitama, Anime War, or my own series that I've been working on, which is fully inspired by the first anime I was ever introduced to, which was Dragon Ball Z. And I know for
my first anime that I was introduced to wasn't Dragon Ball Z though. For me, it was Pokemon. That was the first anime that I was introduced to. But the first anime that I had, the first anime that I discovered myself and fully embraced was Dragon Ball Z. It wasn't even Dragon Ball. Like, literally, I jumped straight to Dragon Ball Z, and then I rediscovered Dragon Ball. And it was such a crazy experience. One of the best anime power-ups, transformations, one of the biggest anime moments, obviously you know that I'm going to say, is when Goku transformed into Super Saiyan for the first time, bro. It's to this day, it still gives me chills to watch it.
For most of you, that's what he's most known for, but he has many other works as well. He's been creating works for over 45 years, and his creations will live on forever, inspiring all of us. Naruto creator Masashi Kishimoto expressed his thoughts on the passing of Toriyama, saying that he grew up with Dr. Slump, eventually moving on to Dragon Ball, and every time he had some sort of bad life experience, Dragon Ball always made him forget about it. It was a relief for a country boy who had nothing. Ichiro Oda, the creator of One Piece, said it's too early for this. The hole is too big. The thought of never seeing you again fills me with sadness. I've admired you so much since I was a child, and I even remember the day when you called me by my name for the first time. I remember the day you used the word friend for us, and I remember the last conversation we ever had. Toriyama is one of the people who took the baton for an era when reading manga would make you look stupid, and created an era where both adults and children read and enjoy manga alike. He showed up
and got a lot of people into it, bro. Like, that's the craziest thing. Dragon Ball Z is a gateway for a lot of things because it's like, even if you don't care about anime, you can always at least get behind seeing some people power up and fight. But like, it's hard to not really like Dragon Ball Z. Like, even besides like the storyline and the filler episodes, it's hard to not like Dragon Ball Z if you just like even for a young boy. But it was women that was into Dragon Ball Z. It was so much. Like, at least everybody know who Goku is, bro.
That's
like,
how
that's
manga can bring us together, and he gave that to me. It was like watching a hero push forward. Dragon Ball is probably rooted in the childhoods of creators who are active in all industries, not just manga artists. The existence is a great tree. For manga artists in my generation who have stood on the same stage, the closer I got to Toriyama's works, the more I realized that they had a greater presence. Almost scary. Masako Nozawa, the voice of Goku, released her statement that she doesn't want to believe it. Her head is empty, and she doesn't want to think about it. Every time she sees Goku, she remembers what Toriyama said to her. You will take care of Goku, won't you? I cherish that moment, and it makes me think. I will stay by Goku's side until my strength runs out completely. Sensei, please watch over us from the heavens. We hope you depart in peace. Toyotaro, the current artist of the Dragon Ball Super manga, says that he drew manga because he wanted to be praised by Toriyama Sensei himself. It was everything to him, and as we know, the torch has been passed on to him. Even you,
man, it's a blessing, bro. Like, you know, to even just hear that, like, okay, your mentor, somebody that you really wanted to, like, to work for somebody you really admire is an experience within itself. To have the torch being passed down to you by somebody you always wanted to work for and always admire is one of those once-in-a-lifetime feelings that you just can't replicate because you kind of worked your life for it. Not your whole life, but it's one of those things that it's that level of validation that is well-deserved, well worked for in life. And it's just, you know, to know that, you know, one of your heroes, you know, someone that you really look up to that gave you an opportunity passed away. I know that there are a lot of people are taking it hard. And it's very, very interesting to hear from the top 3, you know, anime creators and how they feel about it. At least the top 2, One Piece and, you know, Naruto, because those are the biggest animes, in my opinion. Those are the biggest animes. And they're some of the longest running animes. And, you know, just to hear how they feel about it, it lets you know what kind of an impact Dragon Ball Z and Akira Toriyama personally had on them, man. You know, because that's a lot of my childhood. Dragon Ball Z was a big part of it, but Naruto, I almost can say it came close. And One Piece is still, I just was watching One Piece yesterday. Like, man, you never really know how much these things affect you until something like this happens, bro. Like,
Murata, the artist of One Punch Man, giving his thoughts as well. It seems that the entire world has come together to mourn the loss of our hero. Someone who not only created Dragon Ball, but inspired all of us to be creative, strong, fight back, and push our limits. What's interesting to me as I'm almost 40 years old is the fact that back in high school when Dragon Ball Z was airing on Toonami, you would get made fun of for liking Dragon Ball Z. It was just this weird cartoon that looked different than other cartoons, and most people didn't understand it. And if you look at
Vegeta is one of my favorite characters.
After 20 years since then, now you get looked at funny if you don't watch anime. And none of this would have been created if it wasn't for Akira Toriyama. In fact, if he had never made Dragon Ball, the world itself would have been a drastically different place. As a manga author myself, at times it's hard to understand the impact that you're having on other people's lives. You sit in your room drawing pretty much all day, if you're the artist as well, and then you release your art into the world. And you don't really get to see everybody reading it or see their reactions. You do get some nice comments and some mean comments, but
hell no, I ain't putting that shit on my plate.
at times it can be difficult to understand the true impact you're having on the world. And I think we can all agree that Toriyama had the biggest of impacts on our lives. Dragon Ball Daima will be his last work. And I think it's interesting that Goku is a child again, and it's similar to Dragon Ball, which means that Dragon Ball is coming full circle for his death. An almost perfect way to bring Dragon Ball back to the origins of the beginning. I don't really want to talk about it too much in this video because this video is more about showing you how much Toriyama meant to the world. I don't know what sort of contracts or how he's going to pass on the intellectual property to who. I don't know what's going to happen yet. I assume that they will announce something sooner than later. Perhaps Toyotaro takes the reins. I think that everyone involved in the Dragon Ball franchise could use some time to take a break and mourn his passing. He was someone that literally everyone that worked on Dragon Ball looked up to, many of which their entire lives, he was the hero. He led the way and paved the path so that so many of us could move forward. Someone like that should be held in the highest regard because it's incredibly easy to follow the path of other people, but to lead the charge is the most difficult. You're traveling in uncharted territory where many people won't understand or appreciate your work. You're not sure if your methods or process or style will ever even work out because you're not following the path of other people. You're trying to create a new one. It's one of the most challenging endeavors a human can ever go through.
Bro, like being a leader, bro, just not even knowing if what you're doing is making sense, not even knowing if you're really fulfilling your life goals. You're just going off impulse and say, look, I'm gonna just try something for myself. A lot of time, and I'm not saying that this is his story, but a lot of time, a lot of people are met with a lot of negativity, a lot of what ifs, and what ifs can be scary, bro, because a lot of people can fear what they don't know. And just being a leader and forging your own path, a path that's not been made, and then it's a lot of room for mess ups, but then there's also a lot of room for success. And when you do hit success, it's an even bigger feeling because you were like, man, I made this out of nothing. You know, so I understand that completely, man. I understand that completely, man. And it's just a sad thing, but I'm glad somebody like him can unite the world. Even if it's for anime fans, and, you know, obviously it's millions and millions of people, and not everybody will get it. You know what I'm saying? I come and you talk to your parents about it. They not anime fans, or you talk to some people, they not anime fans. They won't get it. They won't get it. But the people that this is meant to touch, this is going to touch the people that is meant to touch, man. And you know, I'm happy. I'm proud of that because not everybody needs to be a part of that. Not everybody needs to, like, you don't need to have the little grubby, little, you know what I'm saying, hands, little fingers, your opinions on it. This is strictly for the people that can appreciate.
It's easy to follow the path of others, but to create a path requires a true hero. One that is resilient, one that is not in it for the money, simply in it for raw, pure passion, which is infectious to everyone else. It's very possible that without Toriyama, we wouldn't have Naruto, One Piece, One Punch Man, and many of the rest. Fact. It's not that Dragon Ball was the first anime or manga by any means, but it was the one that sparked the revolution.
It's the one
Dragon Ball
that
fans love to fight,
right.
And it can be difficult for us to get along sometimes. After all, Dragon Ball is a show about people fighting each other and beating each other up, but not really at its core. That's just the surface. In any case, I hope that with the passing of Toriyama, we can all join together, at least for a brief moment. Stop the incessant fighting. Stop who knows more about the series, who's the bigger fan, what's canon and what's not. Drop all of that and mourn the loss of the one who started it all and paved the path for anime in general. If Dragon Ball was never created, my life would be absolutely different because I got into all of this, all of it, because of Dragon Ball. Not only did it get me to want to start drawing, get me to want to make my own anime and manga, get me introduced to other anime and manga. It was such a huge gateway for me to explore the world of anime and manga. It shaped my entire life and my entire career, from some of my best moments to some of my worst when I was being picked on incessantly. But I'm a very happy man. I have pretty much everything I want in life, and I feel like I led the right path. As long as you follow your passion and your inspirations, you will always live the right path. Recently, we also lost another GOAT, Kentaro Miura, the creator of Berserk. Two absolute legends of the industry who inspired all of us, who wrote stories about trials and tribulations.
I never actually seen that anime, but I always will see like on like not TikTok, but like YouTube shorts or like Instagram, I would see that anime on there, you know, just with like a nice quote on it and shit. I never actually watched that anime, but it just looked real good, man. Very, very well drawn. Like these people, like we talk about other people being geniuses. Like honestly, just these men and other people that can draw like this are geniuses to me. Like, I could not draw like this to save my life, bro. You'd be lucky if you get a few stick figures with a toy gun. It's just a little square gun. Like, you lucky if you get that. My gun probably look like a boomerang, bro. Like, it is bad. At the end of the day, they make hair look good. They make muscles look real. It's so good that it moves you to tears when somebody dies, and you know, you feel pumped up when they get a new power, bro. That's powerful, bro. Like, and they did all this with drawing out of their mind. Like, they brain, they drew this, bro.
Tribulations and difficulties, giving us characters we could sympathize with and learn from, explaining the realizations of their own lives through their stories, passing on the key takeaways that they've learned from life onto their followers, emphasizing the values of friendship and perseverance, personal growth. It's with a heavy heart that we mourn the loss of one of the greatest, Akira Toriyama. But his story will live on forever. Dragon Ball will never stop to inspire us to grow and be better and stronger and fight our battles, sharing our love for the story, and showing us that following your passion in life can succeed greater than your wildest expectations.
That last picture got me, bro. You know, let that be a lesson to some people, bro. Like, the lesson that I took from this is a strange lesson. Is just like, don't be scared to follow your dream, bro. Like, and I know this might sound cliche and it might sound, you know, just I don't know. Maybe sometimes I just feel like it'd be cliche and a little corny. But man, look, bro, just listen to this. It's like, bro, follow your dream, live your life, and live your life to your own standards for your own purpose. That don't mean don't get a job. That don't mean don't learn a trade. That don't mean, like, you know, sustain a living. But I'm just saying, somewhere in your life, you need to live your life to the best of your abilities without other people's opinion, because you never know whatever you do could change millions and millions of people for the good. And so you would never know that had he never did Dragon Ball Z, we would have never got One Piece. We would have never got Naruto. We would have never got all these other animes. And all these other animes kind of shaped a lot of core values for a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? For example, Vegeta is a very big character in my life. I always felt like I've identified with him. And, you know, because I never really did feel like Goku, but I always felt like I identified with Vegeta. And that is one of the biggest characters that wasn't a big character in my childhood, but towards my adult life, that's who I take with me. You know what I'm saying? And just to know that he would have never been a inspiration to my life had Akira Toriyama never said, I'm never going to make Dragon Ball. If he never did that, he wouldn't have brought, like, all of us, some way, in some shape or form, we're here because of that. It's just, I know that sounds weird, but in some way, shape, or form, I feel like that influenced the world to this point that brought us all together. So, y'all, I want to say big rest in peace to Akira Toriyama. You know, sorry to see him pass, man. But y'all drop down in the comments and let me know How do y'all feel about it? What do y'all feel about it? You know what I'm saying? How did he inspire you? Did he inspire you? Were you playing Chrono Trigger? Was you playing Dragon Ball? Was you playing Dragon Quest? Was you watching Dragon Ball? Was you looking at the manga? How did he inspire you, bro? But just let me know down in the comments, bro. You know, rest in peace, bro. Big rest in peace.